When you know that you are queer, but your favorite drink is beer, that's gayish. You can bottom without stopping, but you can't stand going shopping, that's gayish. Oh, gayish, you're probably gayish. Well, life's just too short for narrow stereotypes, so it's gayish. We're also gayish. It's Gayish with Mike and Kyle.
Hello, everyone in the podcast universe. This is Gayish.
The podcast with a service entrance in the rear.
Yes, just trucks and trains in and out all day long.
Mostly waiters.
I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz.
We're here to bridge the gap between sexuality and actuality. And today, we have a special surprise for you.
For you, the listener.
I meant Kyle.
For me?
You. Yeah.
What are you getting me?
Cade Maddox's dick.
You can't get me that over the end. That's the only way I consume Cade Maddox's dick is through the internet.
Watch me.
Yeah, we're gonna have Cade Maddox on. We love having beautiful, hot, the most beautiful, attractive men in the world in audio format here on our podcast, Gayish.
Yep, absolutely. But first, just like the service entrance, it's but first. Do we need a news update song?
No, yes,
we don't.
Whenever you create one, we will start it.
Okay,
yes, Mike, that is for you to take on.
Fantastic. I love this for everyone. We have a news update, a continuing saga. So Puerto Rican pop star Ricky Martin, who I talked about, I think just last week on the show.
Yeah. Turns
out that his nephew that said he was being banged by? No. He will have had banged? There's a verb tense problem. I've been speaking German all week.
There's a Mike brain problem. There's no tense issue here. It's you, not English.
His nephew accused him of banging him, which is both problematic because of his age and because it is incest. And in Puerto Rico, that's a big deal. And apparently he has withdrawn those accusations. There was a temporary protection order that was in place, and it has not been extended because the nephew has just withdrawn it. Said that it wasn't, not that it wasn't true, but that he has withdrawn his request to have the restraining order. There are also domestic violence accusations in all of that. Yeah, the rumor was that Ricky Martin would just like loved that baby nephew dick and was upset after they broke up and obsessed with him, but like turns out like maybe that's probably not true. No, I don't know. It's hard to say. But
maybe we need to add a little bit of class when reporting about on sexual assault charges. There's like I know that we're pretty loosey goosey, but like yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this reporting.
Okay. If you want to write up a style guide for me to ignore, I'm happy to not
style
participate.
Guide. Avoid the phrase baby nephew dick. That's my number one request in our style guide.
All right.
I mean, number two, like he accused him of banging him. Like, I don't know. He accused him of sexual assault. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Also true.
Yeah. Okay.
Also true. Except also not true in that it didn't happen. So,
but you
allegedly,
said he didn't say that it didn't happen. You just said he withdrew it, right?
He withdrew it. Yeah. Which that actually, okay. So let's get real. Let's get serious. I do have my concerns, like reading through all of this stuff. I do have my concerns that there is like intense public pressure. This boy's name was in the news. People can find him. People can be like, why are you fucking up Ricky Martin's life and career? You're an asshole. So even though it all actually happened, that he would, renege on the whole thing to like protect himself and because he felt in danger. It really does concern me. Like it smacks of a potentially bad scenario. So
yeah.
It also could be that exactly what Ricky Martin and his people are saying is true, that this kid is full of shit and like was trying to leverage his uncle's fame into, money and notoriety. And
anytime people say that, though, it's like, when has like a sexual assault victim benefited? Like, so everyone's like, oh, they're doing it for fame. Like that that just doesn't happen. That's not what happens. You get more shit than you get like publicity and support from these kinds of allegations.
Yep, absolutely. Anyway, that's the update. Do you have anything?
No, this is your
Great.
segment, bro.
So now the news.
Oh, we weren't doing that. We weren't in the news.
That was a news update. That was a.
Does the news update not still take place within the news?
No.
News update happens before the actual news.
Feedback and corrections.
That I thought I had already played the news song. I guess I have control over this. I can play the news theme song whenever the fuck I want, Mike.
That's
Maybe
true.
we are in the news. You don't know. You don't tell me when we're in the news.
That's true. Except every time I say, and now the news. That's when that happens.
I can until today.
Great.
Shut your mouth hole. It's time for your ear holes. News.
Fantastic. You're lucky I'm on a different continent. News the first?
Second.
No. I'm doing 3 news stories, and that Ricky Martin bullshit doesn't count because it's an update.
Okay. News the second.
You're the worst. I hate you. News the first. We got to talk about. We got to talk about monkeypox. Monkeypox has been declared by the global health emergency. Has been declared a global health emergency by the World Health Organization. Who? The World Health Organization. Yeah. So during a briefing on Saturday, the 23rd of July, just yesterday, as we're recording this, Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said the global monkeypox outbreak now, quote, represents a public health emergency of international concern, which apparently is a PHEIC, which I don't think actually helps. Like that acronym, I'm not going to remember what that acronym is.
Nope.
Public health emergency of international concern. So that's like, you know, on the color scale of like green is awesome and red is hold on to your butts, we're all going to die. It's like, you know, up there.
That's helpful.
That designation is defined as, quote, an extraordinary event which is determined to constitute a public health risk to other states through the international spread of disease and to potentially require a coordinated international response. The UN Health Agency said that the definition implies a situation that is serious, sudden, unusual, or unexpected. Of course, rather famously now, monkeypox is primarily being spread through the men who have sex with men community. And although it is not strictly speaking a sexually transmitted disease, it is transmitted through close skin-to-skin contact, and we are just better at that than anyone else. The risk of monkeypox is moderate globally, except in Europe, where the risk is assessed as high. So I'll be bringing some home with me, except no, I won't, because I got a vaccine, which I talked about last week. And it's also interesting to me that like the horse shit is already starting. So there is Timothy Farage, who is a computer science professor at the University of Texas at Dallas, who tweeted, quote, "Can we at least try to find a cure for homosexuality, especially among men? Homosexual men have anal sex, which can lead to a variety of diseases," and included a link to monkeypox. Yeah, that's not your alma mater, but that's where
it's in the system. Yeah,
it's in the system, just like the monkeypox. It has been said that perhaps we're not responding to this as quickly or effectively as we should because it's being downplayed by the media as being a gay thing and therefore less important, and it smacks of the AIDS crisis all over again.
Yeah. And then you like when it like I think there were 2 children that like tested recently or something, like all of a sudden that's when straight people care. That's when the broader like it suddenly becomes an emergency when it starts affecting people that are like that society cares about, like non-gays. Yeah. And it's fucking bullshit. Like it's so weird how it's like declared like a sudden unexpected emergency. Like we've been like watching it over the past like month or more, and we've been seeing, there's just a few cases in Seattle. Oh, there are just 20 cases in Seattle. It's like, well, it's going to go up. Like unless you do something, it's just, I don't know. It's not. It was surprising when it started, but that was a while ago, and nothing has really been done except distribute 4 vaccinations to the Seattle area. That,
Yep. And so they're now, this is very, very local, but like in Seattle, I'm now up to 3 people in my life that I know that have had monkeypox.
Really?
And I know one person who, because they wanted a vaccine so bad, they went to Canada. And apparently Canada's just handing them out at the border. It's like, you get a shot, you get a shot. Oprah gives everybody a shot. And yeah, it's a lot. News the second.
Third.
Great. Saw that coming. I could have written that. Okay, so the Uprising Bakery and Cafe in Lake in the Hills, Illinois, is hosting a family-friendly drag show. This is despite announcing that they were going to do a family-friendly drag show and being threatened, vandalized, and sent a bag of feces.
Damn.
over the planned event. Uprising Bakery and Cafe owner Karina Sack told the Chicago Tribune that she had planned a child-friendly drag event complete with costumes, dancing, food, and a celestial theme, and that she quickly got backlash against the show because it would be open to people of all ages, including children. She received numerous calls and emails from people voicing their concerns or personally attacking her because of the drag event. In another instance, a person left a sign on the bakery's door claiming, quote, pedophiles work here. Another person came into the store and spit into the bakery case. And a bag of feces was left at a door outside the venue. Despite the threats and harassment, she plans to go ahead with the drag show, which was yesterday. Hopefully I'll get an update on how that went, and said she wanted to hold more in the future. She said the show, which features well-known local performers, is, quote, very, very family-friendly with no nudity or explicit content. Quote, the worst thing is a high kick, possibly someone doing the splits, she said. That's about it.
Danger, back up.
Yeah. Apparently people have been driving by and yelling groomer or chanting groomer outside the event, which is reminiscent of a similar thing that happened in Texas in June. There were protesters and counter-protesters. Apparently this city is totally prepared for there to be potentially violent demonstrations at this little bakery that just wants to have a family-friendly drag show. I don't know.
We are the gross ones, and they're the ones like spitting on food and leaving sacks of shit in places. Like,
right. Yeah.
Let these ladies who just put on a fuck ton of makeup and like lip sync a little bit, like you're the ones leaving bags of shit like that. You're the gross ones.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Well, and what is the expected outcome from that action? Like, is there a world in which they think that someone is going to go, oh, there's a bag of shit, I should rethink my decisions?
I was wrong all along. Yeah, totally.
Oh, God, I hate people, Kyle.
It's so wild. Like, if you had anyone, a drag queen, if you had someone dress up in like a big wild dress and wild makeup, everyone would be fine with it. It's just, it's association with the LGBT community that gets people, like the exact same thing would happen. And it's just some rando in a big poofy dress. Like, no one gives a fuck. Y'all have had clowns and actors and people at birthday
Catholic
parties.
priests.
And I would much rather trust my child with a drag queen than a Catholic priest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The world's going crazy, Kyle.
Yeah.
All right. News the last.
Yeah. Even I agree with that one.
Great. Yeah. So it turns out that maybe, just maybe, we're going to get a marriage equality bill passed the U.S. Congress.
I did not see that coming.
Did not see that coming either. So it has already passed in the House. It passed by a fairly significant margin. There was a bunch of Republican opposition to the bill, which is not surprising at all. But there were 47 Republicans in the House that voted for it. And it went to the Senate, where it was largely expected to just languish, but it's turning out that maybe there's support for it. So 4 Republicans have so far said that on record that they will support the measure. Susan Collins of Maine, Rob Portman of Ohio, Tom Tillis from North Carolina, who said he's a probable vote, and Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, which that's my dad's name. So every time they talk about Senator Ron Johnson, anyway. Johnson said in a statement on Thursday, quote, "Even though I feel the Respect for Marriage Act is unnecessary, should it come before the Senate, I see no reason to oppose it." Alaska's Senator Lisa Murkowski said she generally supports the measure, but is going to review the proposed bill. Quote, "I have long made known public my support for marriage equality," she said. Turns out that there are polls that show that the majority of Republicans voters support same-sex marriage, and 8 to 10 Republicans, according to The Hill, are possible yes votes in the Senate, which it would only take 1 or 2 since all of the Democrats are on board. Notably, one of the people who's still vehemently against the idea is Lady G herself, Senator Lindsey Graham, who has long been one of the most anti-LGBTQ members and has refuted rumors of being gay, rather famously.
And have refuted rumors of hiring gay male sex workers who had then publicly posted about how they were hired by him.
Yep, exactly right. John Cornyn, who's a dickbag fuckface, said that the bill wasn't anything but a stunt by Democrats to shift concerns over inflation. This is a contrived controversy in pursuit of a political narrative that somehow that decision by the Supreme Court is in jeopardy. I don't believe it is. And this is an effort to try to stoke the fires of political activists and scare them with a narrative that I think is a false narrative.
Because I don't believe that the Supreme Court explicitly stated that those other rulings are next. Like that's wild to, I mean, Republicans don't care about what is true and saying anything that has anything to do with truth or science or anything. So it's not, I don't know why I would be like, no, they literally stated that those are decisions that they would evaluate next. And no one brings up the topic of marriage equality to distract from inflation. Those that's not a thing. Like that's no one's like inflation. Well, but have you heard of gays?
Yeah.
That's stupid.
I will say, when I am at the gas station and I'm angry about the price of gas, if a hot dude walks by, I forget the price of gas.
Okay.
This might work. Maybe.
Okay, now I'm seeing the other side now. This is a very good example to show why people sometimes get mad at us when talking shit on Republicans. And this is a very good example of, while you said, there were a decent number of people in the House, Republicans in the House that voted for it, there were also 175 or something like that, Republicans that voted against us. So majority that voted against us having the legal right to get married. We're trying to scrounge up. They're like, oh, maybe 10 out of 50 votes we could scrounge up to, in spite of Republicans being in support of same-sex marriage. The Republican, the institution, doesn't believe in our equality and are going against what their constituents want and believe in order to try to withhold us from having equal relationships in the eyes of the law. And so fuck them. I don't care. Like, fuck Republicans. I don't know.
Don't fuck them. Don't fuck them, everyone. They don't deserve it.
Unless they pay you enough. It's just, I don't know how else you defend. If you're a Republican, you have to know, we've talked about being in the group and trying to change it from within. If that's your mission, good for you. You're working uphill. But you have to understand, when we say fuck Republicans, this is a prime example of why that is. And there's little that you could do to defend against their actions or claim that they're not homophobic. Yep.
I wholeheartedly agree. We're on the same page, Kyle.
I figured. Yeah.
That's the news.
Well, speaking of people with holes in their hearts that agree, I want to thank the following new Patreon members. Thank you to John Crawley and Stein Sternhaug. There's probably a pronunciation that's better. Anyway, thank you to our new Patreon members. We appreciate you, John and Stein. I think you have a long, bright future together. I'm shipping you now. And if you want to find your next love, go to patreon.com/gayish podcast to support us, the show, and get a lot of cool benefits.
Do it. Do you want to talk about Cade Maddox's dick?
Well,
I'm kidding. Actually, I'm very much hoping to talk about the fact that he is more than his dick. And but yeah, we went to the CyberSocket Awards, thanks Patreon, because we were nominated for a gay porn award, which that's insane.
Yeah.
But while we were there, we met Cade Maddox and his people, and then arranged to he begged us to be on the show.
Yeah, we were like, someone was like, Cade, come on, please, you have to go meet Kyle. And I was like, oh, fine. And I, like gave in and finally like was like, hi, Cade. And he was like, oh my God, I'm such a big fan. I know who you are for sure. And definitely what a podcast is and what you do. And I was like, I know, Cade, thanks. Yeah.
Yep. Do you watch his porn?
I've seen, like, I know who he is. I've seen him. I don't, I've not like proactively sought him out, but if you're looking at porn, he'll come up now and then.
Yeah. You don't have to look very far to see Cade Maddox's dick.
What about you?
No, it's similar. Like I know who he is. I absolutely we ran into him at that party and I was like, oh, you're Cade Maddox. Okay. So for sure. But I don't know. Maybe it's not the kind of porn I watch or something. For whatever reason, I haven't like totally followed him or like, I'm not a fan. He's like Katy Perry. He's the Katy Perry of porn, Like
that's rude. That's unnecessarily mean before having him on the show. Jesus.
Everyone knows and loves him and like, but like, I wouldn't call myself a fan either.
Wow, that's okay. So excited to have him on. Okay,
We have had several listeners who I like told because I can't keep a secret, and they were all very excited. So I'm predicting this is like a real good episode for us, just from a numbers perspective.
I don't feel like This is not building this up very well. I don't feel like we're building. So you said you're not a fan. So excited to have him on. Other people like him.
I'm not a fan. Oh God. Okay, you're right. That sounded awful. No, fuck it. I stand by it. I said my truth, and that's my truth. Deal with it. He's very, very hot, both online and in person. It's uncomfortable. I hope we get through this interview.
And hand check during the course of this interview. And he won a bunch of stuff during the Gay Porn Awards that we were at. So he has won like a whole bunch. He also won. Are they like JVN or something like the other Gay Porn Awards? He's won a bunch of porn awards for being like best performer. Best cock was one that I saw. Like, yeah,
sure. Do we need to set up anything else? I mean, we're hoping to have a real conversation with him about like, what's it like? Like, what's his life like? What are the things that he struggles with? What are the challenges of that industry? Like, all like joking aside, I'm genuinely interested to have this conversation with him, and it's going to be interesting to see where it goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. So should we take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
I'm going to jerk off because like you got to jerk off before you go on the date because then you'll last longer later.
Will you turn your video off?
No.
Oh, no.
This is happening.
This is happening.
Let's take a break.
Let's take a break.
This is the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
So, are we back?
We're back.
We're back. We're here with Cade Maddox. Cade Maddox, how are you? How are things?
I'm wonderful. Things are great. Thriving, actually. My business manager is keeping me on my toes and very busy these last few weeks. But everything's good.
We hear that you just got back from doing a bunch of taping, recording. What I don't even know what's filming. What's the right verb?
So yes, filming. We hired a videographer out in Vegas to film solos for my website, which we don't really have on the website, but we want to give people something different and new to have like an incentive to switch over from. We're trying to go away from OnlyFans to my own page.
Mm-hmm.
So did solos, and I wasn't aware that he signed me up for 6 solos in 3 days.
Okay.
So yeah, my part was about to fall off.
Yeah, that's a lot of cum for one weekend or whatever.
It was a lot. It was very stressful. So on The dick. Can I say dick?
Yeah, you can say dick. Yeah, cock.
In
penis,
fact,
whatever
it is
you want.
listener encouraged that you say dick.
Okay. I was like, I can say fuck. Maybe I can say dick. I don't know.
Yep. Totally good. Do your worst. So, like, most of our listeners are gay, but just in case anybody's like been living under a rock, can you sort of tell us who you are, what you do? Like, what's your story?
So I'm Cade Maddox. I got into the industry about 17. So what is that? 18, 19, 20, 21. So this is going on my 5th year in August.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of want like the story? Is that what or you want like
just how would you like describe maybe your look or like what your typical role is in films?
So my typical role is top. I'm strictly top. That's personal life and business life. My look, I don't know. I'm very clean cut, kind of muscular, 6'1", 200 pounds. I don't know really how to describe. I've never really described myself. This is like filling out my Grindr profile.
Right. Yeah, totally.
So it's like 6'1", 200 pounds, top. Accepts pics, yes.
Yeah.
I guess I'm pretty vanilla when I'm sitting here describing myself. I've been with Falcon Studios as an exclusive for the last 3 years. Mm-hmm. So they have like a certain look that they have, so that can give listeners an idea as well.
Yeah. In addition to like being in Falcon, you mentioned your own site. You have Just for Fans, you have OnlyFans, you have a brand of Flesh Jack, you do modeling. Like it seems like if people like to the average consumer might think that you're a porn actor, but it seems like there's a lot more that goes into being a porn star than just appearing in the porns themselves.
Yes, I would say so. It's kind of like you're an entrepreneur, so you can make it a very good business, or you can just be a porn actor who appears in films. I like to do the studio work still. OnlyFans kind of changed the game for everything because it made it to where the porn actors didn't really need the studios anymore. The studios needed the porn actors because we had the chance to say, oh, well, I can film with this guy here and do this and not take a shitty flight or be in a shitty hotel. And you had more control over it. So, like, why would you go through all this to do a studio scene with some random person, you know?
Has that changed how the studios treat you or interact with their talent?
I think so. Well, Falcon has always been great to me, but I think I got into the studio scene like right when OnlyFans was coming out. So I have heard like horror stories of studios that when they had bad experiences with models or models had bad experiences with them. Now that the studios need the porn actors instead of vice versa, I think they're a lot more willing to give you what you want. As long as it's nothing too crazy. I usually don't ask anything too crazy. But I do like require, like, I have to approve my scene partner now. You know, when I first got into the industry, it's like I said yes to everything. I just wanted to say yes to every opportunity. And it's like, you do what you can do until you can do what you want to do. So I was like, somebody's going to discover me. This is before I was exclusive with Falcon. And I did a lot of scenes with people that I would not do scenes with now. But now it's in the contract to where I have to approve of my scene partners.
Is that common? Like, is that because it's you, or is that because that's true for most models now because the industry has shifted?
I personally don't know what other models put in their contracts or require. For me personally, it was more of it worked both ways. It benefited me because it's my image. And if I'm into my scene partner, it's going to be a better scene and that's going to look better on me. And it also benefits the studio because if I'm into my scene partner, I'm going to give them a better performance and they're going to have a better scene.
Yeah.
So that's why we kind of threw that in there. And then I don't have to really worry about being paired with somebody that is not my type.
Yeah.
In the past, when you've been paired with someone that wasn't your type, you wouldn't have picked them. How do you do a scene then with this person?
I just imagine there's somebody different. Like, okay, this is this is work, and like in my head the whole time I went somewhere else.
It's how I get through every episode with Kyle.
You just kind of put my head in a space like, this is work, you know, I'd much rather be doing this for work. I'd much rather be fucking this guy that I don't want to fuck than serving tables or flipping burgers. So kind of just mentally check out and go into somewhere else. But now I don't really have to worry about that.
Different joke, but it's actually true. That's how I got through my marriage to my ex-wife. Like, for real slow. Like, just like picture you're with someone else is pretty effective if you're good at it. Tell us a little more about your background. Like, where are you from? Where did you grow up? What was it like?
So I'm originally from Mississippi, born in Alabama, raised in Mississippi. Was there pretty much my whole life until I got married. Been a while ago, got married to a Navy guy, and we got stationed in Hawaii. So I was on Oahu for 3 years, and then just decided I was content, but I wasn't happy. So asked for a divorce. My mom had moved to Ohio at that point, so I flew to my mom's house to just kind of figure out, okay, what's next? What am I doing with my life? My mom's being from the South, very religious household, very like, you go to church twice a week. If you don't do that, nothing, you don't do anything else, no extracurricular activities. So she's very religious still. So we kind of bump heads. Like, I love her, but that's her life, not mine. So I had been there a few days, and I had met this producer hit me up on Grindr, Jason Sparks, kind of like a low budget studio. And he was like, hey, you ever thought about doing porn? And I was like, no, but that'd be pretty fucking cool right now. Don't know what else I'm doing. So I thought I was just going to go do a scene, you know, get some cash. Like, it's like, I'm fucking anyway. It'd be kind of hot to have it filmed. So I went and did that. And he was like, hey, you're pretty good at this. So he actually traveled the country with like a couple other porn stars, and they went small town to small town. And this was right before OnlyFans came out. So he was basically using them as bait to find guys to film with for his site. Hit every small town in the US, and that's how he would find like a lot of undiscovered talent that the big studios haven't found yet. Because the big cities, the studios find them, or if they're interested, they find the studios, right? So it's just these small towns where people don't know, like, even if I'm interested in this, how do I get into this? So he was like, well, we're actually leaving in the morning to finish our road trip, and do you want to join us? So I went home and told my mom I'm packing up in the morning to be a porn star.
Wow.
And I didn't really know it was going to turn into a porn star. It turned into something way bigger than I had thought. Well, thank God, because at the moment she was like, have you lost your fucking mind? Are you crazy? And I'm packing up my stuff, and I'm thinking, have I lost my fucking mind? I hope I'm not crazy. And then traveled with him on the road for about 7 months, going east to west coast. I got to see like every state in the United States, which was really awesome. Yeah. Something I've always wanted to do. So, and about that time, my videos for his site started getting posted, and larger studios started noticing me. And one studio had flew me out, paid me this huge check, paid for my food, my hotel. And so I came back to him, and I was like, okay, there's something you're not telling us. Like, if they're able to do this, like, you should be paying us more. And he said he couldn't do that. So me and a couple of the other guys in the group chatted, and this is OnlyFans had just been released, and we were like, you know, we don't need him. We can do this on our own. So we left and moved to DC for a little while. And then I started getting a lot of work in LA for studios, and I was like, DC had got cold, and I was like, fuck this shit. You know, I'm from the coast, and then I've grew up in Hawaii for 3 years. Like, I'm used to warm places. So when DC started getting cold, I was like, this is bullshit. And then LA was always perfect weather. So I decided to move out to LA, and it's probably the best decision I ever made. And that's when I met Tim Valenti, the CEO for Falcon, at some party out here at a club. And he told Mr. Pam, which was a director for us at the time, that's actually who I did my videographer stuff with in Las Vegas. He told her, sign Cade Maddox that night at the bar. But we waited to talk about business till after I was drunk, obviously.
As God intended.
Yeah. Probably wouldn't have got a good rate if I would have negotiated that night.
Yeah, right.
So, okay, a couple questions about things along the way. What's your relationship like with your mom now?
I think it's just moms in general. They're always worried about their kids. You know, they want the best for their kids. So I think she was just worried about like, what is he doing? Is this, he's ever going to be able to get a job after this? Like, she was just very worried, you know? And in my head, I wasn't expecting it to turn out and be so successful. I don't think in her head either. But now she's like my biggest supporter. Like, I have a calendar that comes out. She buys my calendar. I'm like, Mom, don't open that calendar. Just leave it sealed, okay? Like, she had no clue what was on the inside of the calendar. She just saw the outside, and so things like that. My stepdad's sister bought my dildo, so that was pretty cool.
Wow.
Okay.
But yeah, my mom talks about it with all her friends, and we openly talk about everything. I tell her when I'm going to work and stuff. Like the other day, she knew I was in Vegas shooting, so I text her to check on her. She was like, "How are you doing?" I was like, "Well, my dick really hurts, but I'm great." She was like, "Well, I did ask." So, but we're very open with everything now. She's one of my biggest supporters. I think she's proud now. So that I've become so successful.
That's why that was not what I was expecting out of, especially like a very religious household. Like, how do you think she was able to, I don't know, like be so accepting? Not like, it's not just being gay, like, and also doing porn star, like to be able to talk to other people about that. I don't know. I'm just like blown away by that.
Oh, her friends think it's amazing. Like,
really?
they think it's such an interesting, like, if people ask like how her kids are doing, like if she wants to like go into a story, like I'm the one she talks about. My sisters are kind of boring, you know. They have kids, they live in Mississippi and Alabama, like that's not a fun conversation. But also, I think her mindset kind of changed. I was 18, I was about to go to college. I was in the transition of high school to college. I had a full soccer scholarship to the college. So, but then in that transition during that summer is when I came out, and my stepdad was the head football coach of my high school. And he was very Mississippi, just very like ignorant, closed-minded, redneck. So when I came out, he told my mom, "I'm not allowing that in my household. Like, you choose him or you choose me." And so my mom said, "All right," and she packed up all our shit and we left. And I think that's when her mindset kind of changed for like me being gay. Because at first she was like very worried about me being gay, but at the time, this was in 2006. You know, it's totally different now. You didn't see gay characters all over TV. You didn't see like gay prides everywhere. You didn't see gay marriage legalized. It was still very like taboo, kind of, especially down in the South. So that was a big leap for her to do that. And I think that's kind of when her mindset changed as far as like the gay thing. She told me one day, she was like, "Well, you know, I love you and I want to be a part of your life. And I feel like if I don't love you and accept you for who you are, then you're going to leave. And I don't want that. I'd rather you be a part of your life." So ever since then, it's not so strict. She's not throwing Christianity in my face or the Bible. Like, you know, she used to say all the time, like, "Oh, I just hope this girl comes in and knocks you off your feet." And I was like, "Mom, that's offensive. Like, you have to stop saying that. That's not who I am. That's offensive. You're basically saying you don't like who I am." So after that, she's been so good. You know, she was kind of freaked out about the porn thing at first, but now I tell her when I'm going to work, tell her I'm going to do this. And I think she just thinks it's so amazing that I'm so happy. Financially very successful, traveling the world. Like, it's enabled me to travel all over the world, just have these amazing experiences, and I just think she's happy that I'm happy.
That's great.
That's really great. Yeah, especially when so many parents aren't, right? Like there are a lot of kids, whether they're in porn or not, get disowned because they don't fit the mold or walk the walk. So like you're lucky in a way, right?
I'm very lucky. Yeah.
So to sort of pivot, before you got into the industry, like, what did you think it was going to be like, and how much did that differ from how it actually is?
Well, when I first did my first scene, you know, I was just thinking like, "Oh, this is going to be easy, just a fuck scene, quick cash. Like, it's easy. I'm fucking already. What's the difference of there being a camera?" But it was like a low budget studio, so it wasn't like the studio I work for now, where there's like lights and 3 cameramen and like guys on the side who help out, like 6, 7 people in the room. Like it's not like that. It was just one man with a camera. So I think that helped me put my foot into it, and get a little used to it. I wasn't expecting it to be like so much work. I thought it would be easy, like, oh, just go and fuck, but no, it's a long day when you do a studio scene. You go in around like 9, 10 a.m. and usually we don't leave until about 6 p.m., something like that. So my dick is about to fall off at the end of the day. Because you got to go in, you do your solos, and then the other person does their solos, then you do groups. And then you go through your positions and do photos for the position so that they don't have to stop the camera when you're filming to actually take the pictures. So it's kind of like you go through all that, then you go through the scene. So, and there's all kinds of like hang-ups that can happen during the day, Everything doesn't always run smoothly. Like the bottom's not always like a super clean hole, or like, things just don't always work out perfectly. So it's at least like a 7-8 hour day. It's actually work.
Have you had to stop a scene because a bottom wasn't totally clean?
Yeah, we've had to stop the scene. And that happens. And as a top, when I put my dick in an asshole, I expect nothing less. So I've talked to some guys and they're like, well, thank you so much for being so understanding. I was like, why wouldn't I be understanding? I'm putting my dick in an asshole. Like if a top gets mad that they put their dick in an asshole and shit comes out, like they're in the wrong fucking like industry. The shit happens literally.
Yeah.
So that happens, but I try to, you don't want to make the bottom feel uncomfortable, so you have all these cameramen watching already and these cameras and lights everywhere, so it's like spotlight on it, so you're just like, it's okay, it's not like, oh, you shit on me. It's like, hey man, I think you just need to go to the bathroom and clean up for a little bit, and it's all right, it happens.
Yeah. Still thinking about what your expectations were around like the studios and doing porn. One of the things you mentioned, and I don't know if you use this word intentionally, is that Jason Sparks brought around hot guys and used them to bait people into filming scenes with them. There's like even that word, or my concept of porn industries, is that there's a part of them that are predatory. That's one of my assumptions about porn studios. Did they feel that way to you?
Jason Sparks kind of did. But now with the studios that I work for, it's, I've worked for Men, I've worked for Icon, I've worked for, hell, I don't even know who all I've worked for now, but Falcon for the last 3 years. It's such an established studio. We hit our 50-year anniversary this year. It's been around for so long. It's so professional. They treat me like a king. I never felt like anybody is predatory on the scene. It's very like, do you want to do this? Are you okay with doing this? They're very aware of what you want, what you don't want, what you're comfortable with, and I've never been forced to do anything that I don't want to do.
So it's like the smaller studios that you might have to look out for in terms of like how they treat their actors or how they recruit people.
Yeah. Which it's such like a catch-22 with that, because yes, it's like that, but at the same time, like, everybody has to start somewhere. So I do appreciate that he discovered me and he introduced me into this industry, because without that, I probably wouldn't have like gone to a studio and be like, hey, I want to do porn. But it got my foot in the door and kind of showed me, like traveling with him is one of the things is you have to keep your look up. Like if you let your look down from what you were when they signed you on, like you would be let go from the tour. So every day, no matter what city we went to, we all went to the gym. And I think that was a very great tool for me to learn. Like that was just part of my life. You learn that this is a shallow industry. Like it's very based on your looks. I feel, and I'm okay with that. Like, I got into this knowing that. But I've progressed so much as far as my looks from when I first started. I don't really give off personality in my porn, so I don't think they're really going after my personality there. That might be more for Instagram or something like this, but not in the porn.
Yeah, which makes sense, right? Like, it's sort of, porn is not exactly known as being a place where personality is the thing, right? Like, there are some exceptions, but not very many. I'm curious, like, there are a lot of stereotypes about gay porn stars, right? Like their assumptions that are made about why they're doing it, or their background and how they ended up in the industry. There are a lot of them floating around, and I'm interested in knowing what stereotypes you're aware of about, like, who does porn, and which ones are kind of true, like which ones are actually true.
I don't. Okay, layman's terms.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I don't really go to other porn stars and be like, "Why are you doing this? How did you get into the industry?" Like, it's more when I talk to them, we talk about like experiences we've had or whatever's going on now with like what's upcoming and new with them. Or I'm not much of like I don't really care about other people's lives. It's hard, not in a bad way, but like I have so much going on with mine. Like, I don't have time to really think about what's going on in John's life, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't really dig into that. As boring as that may sound. So I don't really know, like, okay, so give me some stereotypes that you've heard of that, and then maybe we can go off that.
Sure. Like, well, one, you mentioned shallow industry, and the stereotype is that it like attracts shallow people.
It may attract shallow people, but for me, it was. I mean, I looked totally different when I first started. Hold on, let me show you. I know they can't see this, but I looked like a twink when I first started. But I just understood that it was. So that was me. Can you see that on the darker one?
Oh yeah.
Like, it still looks like me, but like a lot smaller. That was my very first scene I shot.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I was very shallow at that point because I didn't look great. I just understood that it was an industry that was based a lot around your looks. You know, like, everybody has sex. You know, anybody can pop a camera up there and film it, but it's a matter of who looks appealing doing it. What are people going to consume? So I don't think it's more of a deal of the people in the industry being shallow. I think it's more of a deal of the consumers being shallow.
Yeah. Yeah. Another one is that a lot of drugs, porn stars and drugs, are like joined at the hip.
I just think that comes with money. And the more money you have access to, the LA is a huge party city. Of course, there's going to be like, they're everywhere. Thank God I got into this industry now, like, instead of 10 years ago, because this city would have chewed me up and spit me out. But yeah, you do have a lot of access to drugs. Like, the more money you have, the more access you have. The more parties you go to, you know, you get invited to sex parties and all these other things. And of course, there's drugs there. It's, I think it's more of a matter of self-control. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing a little, I don't know what I can say here.
Whatever.
You know, like the ones like cocaine, ketamine, like stuff like that. I think there's nothing wrong with doing that every now and then. It's just a matter of self-control and knowing when and where is the time to do that. As long as you don't get hooked on it. You know, like, I have a very addictive personality. I'm aware of this. So I've never tried like the Tina stuff. Like, that scares the hell out of me. But that is actually a very big drug in the industry that so many porn stars get hooked on. And I haven't seen one that goes down a good path after that.
Well, and that's maybe a good segue to the last one I was going to hit you with, which is that, like, that porn stars burn out quick and die young.
Yes. We were talking the other day, and we were talking about like Kevin's helped me so much as my partner, but also my business manager. He's just made me think about like, okay, what's life after this? Because this is obviously a wave, right? You have like a certain amount of years that I think good porn stars, will last. We'll say like a great one, 10 years, maybe a little bit over that, but we're saying 10 years so that we can plan. I meet so many guys in the industry with, your OnlyFans is coming in, you're having all this money so quick, so fast, so easily that they've never had that before. So they don't know really what to do with it. They blow it. They buy all these fancy things, and they're not really thinking like, oh, one day this career I'm not going to be stabilized in this career. This is just a wave. This is not a secure job. So Kevin's really taken my mindset, and all the money that I'm making, I'm investing. I have an investment firm, so I'm letting them build that. But also, he's making me think of like, what else do you want to do like after this? And I think a lot of porn stars just don't have someone like Kevin. There's nobody steering them in the right direction or making them think about tomorrow, which is very sad. And you see that all the time, because like, what porn stars can you think of like from back in the day that are actually somebody now, or still successful, or don't look like a washed up crackhead? There's not many you can think of, right?
Right. Yeah.
What do you think about when you think about like your future, like what you want to do after porn, or other ways you might be involved in porn?
So I think when my time in front of the camera is done, then I would doing the OnlyFans and learning to video and work that side of things at CadeMaddox.com now. It's kind of taught me a lot to how to work with the camera and stuff. So I think like, if nothing else, when my time in front of the camera is done, then I would like to be behind the camera in some way. I've also dug into a little bit of becoming a personal trainer, which I started that right before the pandemic, and the pandemic hit. So like the in-person classes weren't going on. So that kind of like dribbled off. But I still like to pick back up on that because actually during the pandemic, I thought it was going to be horrible because we weren't filming for studios, but my personal websites actually blew up. Like, I guess more people were at home. They weren't having sex, so they were consuming more porn. So it really just kind of took off after that. So yeah, we're just thinking about things like that. In the meantime, I've invested most of my income in this investment firm, which is flipping it. So at least I'll have like some type of money to do something whenever this is done, which is hopefully is not soon.
You've mentioned fitness, body image, and a couple times you've mentioned that you have to stay in the gym every day. You know that if you let your looks go, that people will stop watching. That seems like a lot of pressure to put on yourself around your body and your body image. How do you feel about your own body?
I feel great about my body. I feel like I've looked better, and I'm 34. I just turned 34 in March, and I feel like I'm in better shape than I've ever been in my life. It's not a lot of pressure. They say it takes 30 days to develop a habit. So after traveling with Jason for those months and months and months, and just going to the gym every day, like without questioning it, I think it becomes more of like part of your lifestyle. And I've never really let go of that. There'll be some days where I have so much to do that I'm like, okay, I can't make it to the gym today, but every now and then that's okay. Your body needs a rest. That's actually healthy. They recommend that. But if it was up to me, I go every day, which I try to. Some days Kevin has this to-do list for me as far as like editing and all this, and I just can't make it there. But I don't really feel like it's a pressure. I feel like it's something that I should be doing anyway to take care of myself, to extend my life. It's a great therapy as far as like mental. Like, I don't like going to the gym, honestly. Like, I have to talk myself into going most days. I'm like, okay, get your ass up. Like, you gotta go to the gym. But once I get in there and I leave the gym, I'm just like so glad I went. I feel fucking amazing. It just releases all these endorphins, lets a lot of stress off. And so it's the days that I don't go to the gym is where I feel like shit.
But I mean, like, so you showed us a picture of when you started out, and you were, you definitely like have bulked up. You were a little bit more like twinkish, but still like muscular. But like you were like twunk. There you go. Yeah. But you made a comment about like, I don't know how you didn't look as great back then. Like you looked great then. You had abs. You had like, I think you looked great even back then. Do you have pressure? It seems like there is pressure to be, I don't know, bulkier, more jacked than the next guy, or kind of the.
I don't think you want to be more bulky. So we went through this thing like a year or so ago. I just wasn't gaining a lot of muscle mass. I had trouble gaining muscle mass. I was always very lean. So we went and got my testosterone, but I also was like tired, low energy all the time. So we went and got my testosterone checked. So I had low testosterone, so I got put on like a testosterone therapy. So I do like 1 cc a week or something. It's a very small amount, but it's just to boost it, which helped me start getting my muscle mass. And at where I'm at right now, I'm not really looking to get bigger. I don't want to be at the point where I can't scratch my back or look over my shoulder. Like I think that's a little bit too much. I think I'm like at a perfect mass for my body size. I feel great. Like I like the lean aesthetic look. I just don't want to look like too much.
Yeah.
Which I think right now I'm at that point. If I go any bigger, like it's gonna look like I'm on roids. Like one of those meatheads, and that's not what I'm really going for. I don't think that's sexy.
On the flip side, the people that watch porn, gay porn does give gay men in particular body image issues by looking at all the perfect men that are having sex. How do you feel about your role in what viewers are seeing and how they feel about themselves as a result?
Well, my look is, like I want to look my best. On my website, I find most of my guys who I film with on Grindr, and they're not always the perfect, like, they're not always cut up and muscular. And so like, I do fuck a lot of like average looking guys. On another note, if people are having, if they're getting body issues from watching porn with people like me in it, I would say that there's such a big porn library out there with so many different guys, with so many different body types that why don't they watch that to make them feel more comfortable? What is it in particular that they're watching my porn for? If it's making them feel bad, because when I'm doing porn, I don't want people to feel bad. I want them to fucking come. So, but I just feel like if there's so many porns out there, with OnlyFans, like there's so many different demographics that have, that put their sex out online now. So there's so much to choose from. So I would say if you're watching my porn and my body image is making you feel uncomfortable or bad about yours, then maybe click on the next guy's porn who's a little bit more average looking. I just don't feel bad about trying to look my best.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm putting myself out there on the internet, and this shit is going to be out there for the rest of my life. Why would I not want to look my best?
When you mentioned you find guys for your site on like Grindr and stuff, what's that process look like? I would imagine people would be like, I don't believe that this is who you are. I think you're like using Cade Maddox pictures and like, so what's
oh my God, I get that all the time.
What's the process to find someone to film with?
I mean, I just put on my Grindr, looking to film. So most people are aware of my name or who I am. And if not, I'm sure they can just Google, and that brings up a lot. But yeah, I do get a lot like, is this real? Are you real? Or I'll get a lot of them like, so fake. Why are you trying to impersonate this person? Which is kind of flattering. Like, thank you. Like thinking that I'm that popular that people would like try to impersonate me. But I attach my Twitter, I attach my Instagram, and if it comes down to the point to where I'm actually interested in filming with a guy, then I will have no issue verifying through one of those platforms. And that's usually how it happens. But almost every time I have to verify. But not only them verifying me, there's been plenty of situations where I feel like I need to verify them.
Yeah.
You know, you get a lot of weirdos on there too who make fake profiles and send all these like pictures of these people who are not even them, which I don't know how the hell they have time to do that shit.
Yeah, like what's the end game there too, right?
Yeah, like you think you're gonna show up and I'm just so horny that like, okay. No, sorry, bro. But then it's always awkward for you because you're like, I'm very sorry, and it makes me feel like a dickhead, and I'm very sorry, but you don't look like the pictures you sent me. Like this, and it's always so awkward at that point. But I don't feel bad because they did this to themselves. They knew when they were doing this, but it still makes me feel like a dickhead at the time. So
yeah. Okay. What are there any sexual fantasies that you have not fulfilled yet that you would like to?
Honestly, no.
You've done all of them?
This industry has allowed me to fill all my sexual fantasies.
Wow.
Actually one that I would like to do that I haven't got to do yet is I would like to fuck some hot twins together.
Oh. Okay. Do you have your eye on any twins in particular?
Yeah, but they're social media people, so that won't happen.
Oh.
But yeah, there's a few hot ones out there. There's even like some who have OnlyFans together and do OnlyFans together. But I think that would be really hot, like just hot twins, and that's one fantasy I haven't done. But pretty much everything else this industry has allowed me to do.
That's fantastic. So, Cade, any final parting thoughts here before we head off to the break?
Not that I can think of. It's been pretty easy. It's been a lot easier than I thought it would.
Excellent.
You guys weren't so hard on me.
Yeah.
We're generally nice people.
Kyle is very easy, so
easy is good, especially in my industry.
Yeah. So should we take a break, Kyle?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Great. Let's take a break.
This is the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
All right. So are we back?
We're back.
We're back. Cade Maddox, where can people find out more about you, what you're up to, how things are going? Tell us all the things.
You can find everything now at cademaddox.com. We launched it, June 1st? Around June 1st. And that's where we're putting everything. That's where we're putting all of our energy right now. So that's text messaging now, sexting, whatever. That's all of my newest and latest videos, pictures behind. We're actually doing a new thing where we're filming behind the scenes of me filming my OnlyFans. So you'll be able to see what it looks like, not the edited version. All kinds of little different things, but also compared to OnlyFans, we're doing like 4 times the content. So on OnlyFans, I would post one video every 2 weeks, and here I'm posting one video. Is it one every week?
Yeah.
You can request personal videos on this website. There's just there's a lot. It's been a lot.
Did you say sexting? People can sext you from the site?
Yeah, you can chat with me directly, actually.
Wow. All right. Never heard of that. That's exciting.
Which is a new feature because with OnlyFans, there was just so many messages. It was just so hard for me to catch up from behind. So with this one, staying on top of it from the get-go has really helped me a lot.
Nice.
Also, we'll be coming out with merchandise and a yearly calendar too. So that's things we're working on. It's coming in the fall.
Great. Cade's mom, don't open the calendar.
Yeah. Well, this one I think she'll be able to open. This one's going to be a more... like you can have it at work, or it's sexy, but it's not sexual. Well, 75 to 25, Kevin says. So yeah, CadeMaddox.com. And if you're looking for, studio scenes and like the whole production, things like that, the storyline, you can find me at Falcon.com.
Awesome.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, our website is gayishpodcast.com.
We are on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all the socials at Gayish Podcast.
Our hotline, you can send us text messages or leave us voicemails, is 5855-GAYISH. That's 585-542-9474. Standard rates apply.
Our email is gayishpodcast@gmail.com.
And our physical mailing address is Post Office Box 19882, Seattle, Washington, 98109. And I'm sure that bitch is full because I've been traveling. Yeah, real quick, everybody. You have one more week. No, by the time this drops, you got like one more day.
A few days, yeah.
Go to podcastawards.com and vote for us, you motherfuckers. We want to win this year and stop our 6-year losing streak. Podcastawards.com. Click the blue button in the middle. Make it happen.
Yeah, the last day is July 31st. So make sure you do it in the next couple days.
Next up, we are going to be live next weekend. So the Pride 48 live streaming weekend is Sunday, July the 31st, and we are on at 1 p.m. So Pacific, 1 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're interested in hearing us live and supporting us, tune in. And there's lots of queer podcasts that weekend, all weekend long, starting the 29th. So check them out, including our friends at Minority Report.
Yeah. And our quarterly Patreon call, when is that?
Wednesday, August the 3rd at 6 p.m. Pacific. Every Patreon member at every level of support can just come hang out with us on Zoom. It's fun. We have cocktails. We talk about dicks. We'll probably talk about Cade. Gayest or straightest? You want to do our gayest or straightest?
Yeah.
Kyle, you can go first.
Okay, my gayest is I listened to a brand new D&D podcast, and at the very beginning, they said we are a mostly queer cast, and so now as I'm listening to them play D&D, I'm trying to figure out who the gay is. I'm trying to listen and figure out if I can, pick it up to suss out who the gay in the show is. The straightest is I just started watching Game of Thrones. I was like, I need just a very long, epic TV show to get into. I have never watched that. So it is the straightest, not only because that is a show straight people love, but also being behind the times is a very straight thing.
Sure.
What about you, Mike?
Well, the gayest thing about me this week, I was in Germany last week for work, and I just absolutely lost my shit in front of a coworker because we turned the corner and there was a just beach volleyball game happening and all of the Germans were shirtless. It was a lot to handle, and I don't think this coworker knew that I was gay, but she really got the hint when
she found out very quickly.
I did a full body gay gasp. And then the straightest thing about me this week was I was by myself at the hotel bar in Frankfurt, and this American sat next to me and struck up a conversation with me and asked me, "Are you single? Because the chicks in Poland are super hot." Dude totally thought I was straight, was being really broy with me. It was adorable. Bro. Yeah, exactly. Cade Maddox, how about you? Your gayest or straightest?
I would say my gayest is I love listening to Shania Twain when I get ready.
Great. Yes.
Spice Girls too.
Excellent.
Nice.
They're great.
Yes, absolutely.
My partner says my straightest is my wife beaters and my Timberlands that I wear, which I thought it was just a Southern thing, but apparently it's a straight Southern thing.
Yeah, it's a straight thing. Because if it's gay, it's a tank top, right?
Yeah.
And it's like the fitted ones, like the stringy,
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that here. It's very stringy and very less.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, Cade Maddox, thank you so much for being on the show today. We really, really appreciate your time. It was awesome to get to talk to you.
My pleasure. Thank you guys for having me.
Also, thank you to our super gap bridgers, who are John Crawley. Hey, John. Stephen Porch, Joe Stossel, Harry Staw, Josh Copeland, Forrest Dale, Patrick Martin, Anonymous, James Barrow, Steve Douglas, Explosive Lasagna, Christopher Farrell, Just Jamie, Kevin Henderson, Tipson, McStumbles, Don Linsky, Thomas B. Dusty Sands, A. Coleman, Chris Cacciatorian, and Jerome York. Thank you to all of you for your support.
Thank you. That is it. This has been Gayish from the Chris Cacciatorian Studios. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz. Until next week, be butch, be fabulous, be you. See you next week. Bye.
From Scotland for Pride 48 weekend.
That was so gay. Will you powder me right now, please?
I love it.
Well, he wants to do a screenshot of the three of us, so I'd much rather just have it done where my forehead's not shining the reflection of the computer. Everybody needs a Kevin.
Yeah. Derek, when we're back in the studio, we're going to need you to do this.
Yeah.
Get good at this.